Hey, good morning or afternoon or evening. I'm Chase Cunningham or Dr. Cunningham or Dr. Zero Trust, whatever. Black Hat is coming up, so getting ahead of the curve and putting out some content now. There'll be a lot of shit going on at Black Hat, provided I don't burst in flame walking around the desert. Whoever decided to have an event in Vegas in August obviously did not know that it'd be hot, but there we go. Anyway, let's get into cyber stuff and start covering, cyber things. So first article, and this is pretty crazy when you look at the market growth of what we're talking about here. I'm trying to cover a lot more, I guess, financial stock market-y type stuff because there's a whole business side of this equation that I would argue most of us are not typically great at. But if we read and learn, we can get better at it. And this is worth paying attention to because we're in this market. We might as well, benefit from it somehow, some way. So the market, according to this report, surpass 8.48 billion by 2034. That's a lot of cheddar between AI, cloud security, regulatory compliance. The global cybersecurity market size is calculated at about 300 billion in 2025, which is up from 268 a year ago, and it's going to pass 878 billion. Holy fucking shit. By 2034, according to Precedence Research, because more stuff is going to happen. So let's get a little bit deeper into this and look at some of the reasoning behind why this growth is going to continue to occur. In terms of revenue, and this is revenue, the market's estimated at about 268 billion. It keeps growing. It's looking at going to be 878 billion by 2034. And they're just kind of tracking along the hockey stick here. So I guess the truth of the matter is this is still a good market to be in. CAGR is about 12.60%, which is pretty staggering. So let's look at some of the facts that are quickly, part of this whole equation here. Growth 12.60. North America is obviously the leader, 36% of the market. Asia Pac is going to grow after that, which makes a lot of sense. Software segment, which kind of a cop out thing to say software segment, like everything software, regardless, is obviously going to continue to grow pretty heavily. Cloud security is going to be the fastest growth area. Managed services is coming up to be the dominant part of the market pretty soon. So that makes a lot of sense. And then when you get into this whole thing about small and mid-sized enterprise, this is from Ottawa, Canada, so they call it small and mid-sized enterprise and small and mid-sized business, but that's going to grow pretty exponentially as well. So lots of good things still coming here, but here's some other factors we should know about. Data breaches are becoming more costly, which is interesting because you think about all the money going into this space and all the technology and innovation and awards and all the other stuff. And you're like, well, wait a minute, why are breaches getting worse? The 2024 market study from IBM said that global data breaches cost hit about $4.5 million. Healthcare sector is the largest one. So it's increasing. A note on zero trust architecture. Organizations are increasingly embracing zero trust architecture. Hooray, huzzah. Where no user system is inherently trusted. So that's cool. And this is according to IBM's 2024 cost of a data breach report. ETA adoption has helped organizations reduce breach costs by about $1 million. So there you go. If you're ever asking what the return on investment is for ZT, it's about $1 million. And of course, there's other factors that can go in there. So there's other things that are in this article that you should go read up on your own. I'll put the link to it or whatever else. Data privacy, cloud migration, the workforce gap stuff this is where I think the MSSP stuff comes in pretty heavily. So, and again, this is where I don't think that the numbers are accurate in this market. I think they're being hyped up by ISC squared because look who they actually cited here. So cybersecurity workforce gap spurs demand with an estimated 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity roles globally, source ISC squared 2024. Companies are increasingly turning to managed security providers, which makes sense. But how can we continue to have millions of jobs and all these people are out of work? Doesn't that not make sense? Like there's a lot of shenaniganing that goes on in cyber, and I don't see how people are not more aware of it. Just put some logic to all the numbers that are thrown at us and think about it and ask some questions, and it becomes pretty clear. So yeah. There's more stuff, market coverage that they have here. How North America dominates the market. How big is U.S. cyber? So it's pretty big. It's outpacing everybody by 2 or 3x, which is why everyone's business here. But APAC is coming up pretty quickly. So North America looks like about 36%. Europe's about 25. APAC is about 22. LATAM is coming up as well at 10%. So there you go. Plenty of opportunity here. Pro services is growing. On-premise is kind of weird because when you look at some of the research they're talking about here is that there's a transition from cloud stuff back to on-prem, which, okay, makes sense. Actually, as a matter of fact, I was going to make a comment about that because lately we've seen a lot of folks that are running with on-prem as an offering, or on-prem is becoming kind of the thing that we're doing now. So it's very interesting that on-prem is becoming what used to be cloud. Like it was everybody run the cloud, run the cloud, run the cloud. Now we're back to, hey, on-prem is kind of a thing that might be of interest. World Economic Forum. Think what you want to think about WEF, but data analysis seems pretty okay if you ask me. I wanted to highlight this article though, because this is another group, the World Economic Forum, talking about this lack of cybersecurity talent and the gap and whatever. Again, I know for a fact, I personally have helped probably a dozen or more people get their first interviews in cyber. I don't know if any of those, I know 2 of them have been hired, but like that still leaves 10 people out of jobs. So if there's all of this open opportunity, why are these people not being hired? Because I don't send jackasses to go talk to people. Like, they're qualified individuals. How does this work? Employers across the United States are strengthening their cybersecurity capacity with new hires, not according to the people I know. According to a recent report which found that cybersecurity talent acquisition has increased following a year-long lull. An analysis released this month by CyberSeek, a cybersecurity workforce insights company, found that public and private sector employers sought over 514,000 jobs in the past 12 months. The increase represents a 12% increase from the year prior. This study shows, quote, cybersecurity talent needs spanning the country. CyberSeek said in the press release, businesses of all sizes and every industry sector type, as well as state and local governments, must contend with decisions of building their cybersecurity teams through recruitment or internal development. When you look at what's going on here, so according to the Global Cybersecurity Outlook 2025 from the World Economic Forum, 14% of organizations have the necessary skilled talent to meet their cybersecurity objectives. Problem. The report also noted that 2/3 of organizations remain vulnerable to cyber attacks. Cyber skills gap continues to be a key challenge to organizations becoming more resilient. Okay, duh. But again, let's go back to go look on LinkedIn. Like, seriously, take a minute, go look on LinkedIn, go look on Indeed, go look on any of the job searching sites and just look for cybersecurity. Just look at them. There's a fuckload of jobs out there. But how can there be so many open positions if people are not being hired? And lots of folks still have open to work on their resumes, qualified individuals. Like, there's the math here ain't mathing, and there's something that's just not adding up. I mean, Microsoft, I think I saw laid off like 9,000 employees recently because AI basically, decided it was going to do their job, or however they put it in place. And if you saw that other article I posted the other day about what Microsoft is doing, where it's mandatory to use AI for a bunch of things at work, that's boiling the frog. Like, understand that you are training the AI to take your position. For whoever listens to this and whatever, like, just know that that's what's going on, because people are the biggest cost that any business has, and they'll be we're disposable, especially nowadays. By the time people look at this and do the numbers and the financial wizards come in, they're going to look at this and go, if an agentic AI system can do your job, you're gone, because I don't have to pay the agentic AI benefits. I don't have to worry about it taking days off. I don't have to give it HR training and all these other things. Like, it is way cheaper than people. So be aware that if your business is making you use AI tools, you are training yourself out of a job. And like, just be honest about that. It may not happen tomorrow, may not happen in 3 years from now, but sooner or later, the cost equation is going to not play in our favor. It just is what it is. Data breach at healthcare services firm Episource impacts 5.4 million people. I wonder if Episource, whatever, are they publicly traded? Let's go see. Episource LLC, California. Are they public? ETF. No, I'm looking for Episource LLC. So it looks like they are still private. Damn, because I was going to hope that was by the breach opportunity. Healthcare services firm Episource has been targeted in a cyber attack that resulted in data breach, impacting more than 5.4 million individuals. The firm revealed in a data breach notice. Let's see what the data breach notice has. I bet this came up on my Discord server. We'll find that out later, but that's whatever. Here's what they say. Let's see. An investigation showed that a, quote, cyber criminal was able to view and copy data belonging to, quote, some Episource customers between January and February. But last time I checked, it's fucking July, and we're just now hearing about this. Here's the quote from Episource. We quickly took steps to stop the activity. We began investigating right away and hired a special team to help us. Haha, Mandiant. We also called law enforcement. We turned off our computer systems to help protect the customers we work with and their patients and members, blah, blah, blah. The company said, noting that it is, quote, not aware of any misuse of compromised data. So buckle up. The information stolen by hackers varies from person to person, but it includes the typical bullshit: name, address, email, all the stuff's been stolen 50 times over. A source told the Department of Health and Human Services that the incident impacted about 5.4 million people. Some Episource customers, such as Sharp Healthcare, have published their own data breach notice. Okay, so this is like a, I don't know, bigger company that's got hooks into others. 5.4 million people. So yeah, not cool. Russian hackers bypass Gmail with app-specific password ruse. Sounds kind of Russian. Russian hackers posed as U.S. State Department staff convinced targets to generate and give up Google app-specific passwords. Dope. Let's see. According to documentation from Google's threat intelligence group, the operation ran from April into early June and impersonated U.S. State Department officials in email threads with flawless English because they got it from an AI system and copied to 4 bogus @state.gov colleagues in emails. Google tracks the threat actor as UNC 6293, believes it's linked to APT 29. Which is the Russian intelligence unit, DRU, etc. Investigators estimate the group spent weeks cultivating each target before pushing detailed instructions on the ASP. One victim, British writer Keir Giles of Chatham House, exchanged more than 10 emails with a sender calling herself Cloudy S. Weber. The messages arrived during Washington business hours and used email addresses that never bounced. Once trust was established, #0trust, via email back and forth, Google said the imposter sent a 6-page PDF on a fake State Department letterhead, instructing the target to visit Google account settings page, generate this app-specific password labeled ms.state.gov, and email the code back to, quote, complete secure onboarding. Fucking dumbass. With that code, the hackers gained persistent MFA access to the target's Gmail account. Wah, wah. Citizen Lab, which reviewed the lure at Giles' request, said the emails and PDF were free of the minor language slips often seen as phishing messages because AI makes them better. The researchers suspect generative AI tools, fucking shocker, were used to polish language. This was a highly sophisticated attack. No, it wasn't. Requiring the preparation of a range of fake identities, accounts, material, and elements of deception. It's the same shit that's happened for years on end. It's just gotten better because of AI stuff. And let me get this straight. Does anyone think that the State Department doesn't give people phishing training and deepfake and AI training? The attacker was clearly meticulous to the extent that even a vigilant user would be unlikely to spot out of place elements or details. But here's the thing. All that person had to do was go, like, there's something here is whatever. Let me just contact the help desk and ask, problem solved. But no. Now, again, because there's a PDF involved and because of some of the language and because of the making them reach out to sites to do things, you could have put a policy engine capability control in front of this person and this wouldn't have worked. So here we are again with yet more evidence that phishing training and AI training and all those things, while you should train your people, those are not controls and they will fail. And if someone takes the time to really research their targeted topics, which Russian APTs and Chinese APTs and any APT with an APT thing is going to do, they will wind up being able to get to systems. However, technology exists to put in front of these people to mitigate that risk. So try that, do that. It's not that hard to figure this shit out. World Economic Forum has another report. And this one probably will piss some people off. Why humans are the weakest link. Shocker. So the weakest link in cybersecurity, humans. If only someone had said that millions of times before. A cyber attack on Australian airline Qantas, potentially exposing 6 million customers' data, has underscored that humans remain the weakest link in cybersecurity. This is not down to people's negligence, but due to increasing sophistication of how cyber criminals operate. Absolutely. Cyber attack is thought to be the work of Scattered Spider, a group of hackers that have been targeting retailers and airlines across the UK, US, and Canada, and is known to target IT help desk using social engineering techniques. The group isn't linked to recent attacks on Marks and Spencer, airlines, etc. So blah, blah, blah. And it's not only big names who are impacted by cyber attacks. In the UK alone, 27% of companies reported that they have suffered cyber attacks over the past year, according to the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, which is a British thing. That is an increase of 11 percentage points from the previous year, right? So, go look at the report and read it for yourself. But the data is the data is the data, and it pretty cut and dry when you really read through this stuff. And this, again, it's not a knock. Like, this shouldn't be offensive to say people are the weak link in cyber. It just is. That's just how the stuff has worked. It's worked that way since the dawn of time. When you're trying to get access to something that you don't or shouldn't have access to, you social engineer it, you work, you learn, you build trust, you profile, you look at their fate, like all of those things. And eventually you'll find a weak link, you'll find a weak target. And people are going to go, well, no, we don't want to say that people are weak links, that people are the reason for compromise. It's okay. It's not saying that you're the worst person in the world. It's not saying that you have herpes or something or other else. Like, it's just saying that this is data, this is fact, this is history. Go look at the Verizon Dibber for the last decade and tell me that things have changed there. Humans, bad logins, access, phishing. Bad logins, access, phishing. Bad logins, access, phishing. Like, the drum has been beat so long that there's a fucking hole in it, and people are still sitting there going like, I wonder how to solve this problem. It is okay to be the weak link. I would say if you put me in something and you said, what are you the weak link at? I suck at finances. I hate that shit. I don't like taxes. There's a bunch of stuff that I'm the weak link at. It's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings for someone to look at me and go, Chase, you suck at this. That's okay. Please fix me. But for some reason, we have this big issue about saying like people are the weak link in cyber. There you go. Not the end of the world. No one's bursting into flame. Like, your people are where things go wrong. Technology can fix that problem. I have this thing here about like what ancient Greece can teach the United States about defending against cyber attacks, and honestly, it's pretty meh. I'll put the link in there that people can read it or whatever. But as far as they're talking about like Thermopylae, the hot gates, strategy versus numbers and whatever else, it's kind of interesting to read, but I wouldn't, blow it up. Now this, I could spend an hour on this report itself, but I'm just going to kind of breeze through it and let you guys look at it on your own. So this is make sure I have it right here, Scientia Institute Information Risk Insight Study, 2025. And here's the key findings. On average, 3,000 security incidents are publicly reported or discovered each quarter. That's a 650% increase over the last 15 years. Jesus Christ. Cyber events affecting smaller businesses are far more common overall. The annual probability of any given organization experiencing a cyber event has quadrupled since 2008, so we are not doing well. The probability of a less than $1 billion firm suffering an incident has more than doubled, while the annual likelihood for a 100 plus billion organization has fallen. The bigger you are, kind of the better you seem to be getting, and that kind of makes sense when you think about how much they've spent on this. Losses from a typical security incident have absolutely exploded, rising 15-fold from a median of 190K to about 3 million now, 4.5, according to what I said earlier. The cost of more extreme tail loss events is also up 5-fold, which balloons out 32 million. Median losses for professional services firms are up. Exploitation of web apps 6 times greater. Credentials, compromising user credentials, which are passwords, remains the most common intrusion technique over the last decade, fluctuating between 43 and 60%. So again, what did I say? There's some interesting data that they have here as far as where things go, and you can track all this and kind of look at what the data indicates: system intrusion, ransomware, DDoS, et cetera. This is a good report. Do incident trends differ across organizations? Like, they did a lot of analysis here, so this is a really good report. Take your time and go read this. That's my 2 cents. I'm not going to read the whole thing right now. So most cybersecurity risk comes from just 10% of employees, which again is from the Scientia Institute, but human risk. Visibility is a missing piece. Risk is unevenly distributed. So the majority of employees at organizations are classified as vigilant. Okay, sure. 78% of users reduce risk, which is great, with many consistently practicing good security hygiene, such as reporting, blah, blah, blah. The truly concerning group is the chaotic, risky 8%, which is the bottom right quadrant. These are employees whose unpredictable haters and threat exposure make them difficult to manage, aka those dumbasses who don't do well in phishing training and who you've warned about this stuff 50 times over, but continue to do stupid shit. So there you go. There's your people that you should put a control in front of. Like, you've got the training and the education and the practices and all those things. You know who the weak links are. Make the weak links stronger by putting tech in front of those people. You don't have to put it in front of the whole organization. If you can identify that 8%, do it for those clowns. Life goes on. Trump administration focuses on Zero Trust 2.0. Cool. I'm not too sure about this one, but we'll see. Nick Polk, branch director for ONB, is looking towards the next iteration of the federal Zero Trust strategy. And he quotes himself saying, "We are still coalescing around the exact strategy here, but it likely will be focused on specific initiatives we can undertake for the entire government. So DT for the entire government. Now we're getting bigger. They talk about Biden stuff in 2022 and going forward from there and whatever else. So interesting things. Anyway, like I'm kind of at the wall on other things to talk about here, so I'm just going to wrap it up and say Black Hat's coming. There's good stuff going on. If I'm out there and you guys can find me, good to see you. Hi, let's say things and chat and whatever. Do your research. Think for yourself. Like the data is here to indicate the right way to do this stuff. This is not rocket science, and it's not wrong to say people are a weak link. You just fix them. Technology makes that possible. Stay smart, stay safe, stay secure. Catch you on the next one.